Antibiyahimo MAD. The second one we have Andiani Resitanabu MA, and the last we have Siti Mufidatul Husna. So before we're going to start our debate today, I would like to inform you some rules keeper for this preliminary round. The rule: electronic device. Again, no electronic device. And the second one, for some tentative speeches, the timekeeper will play the bell once at the minute of 3. Again, the timekeeper will play the bell once at the time of 3. Is yours.
In a world full of possibility, age restriction becomes nothing. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon to the honorable panels of adjudicators, a precise timekeepers, an amazing opponent on side opposition, all the comrades, and not to forget all the members of this beautiful house. Ladies and gentlemen, today's motion is this house would eliminate age restriction for marriage. But before I am here, stand as the first speaker of things in this occasion, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing that I'm going to give the explanation of our motions today, and in the second one, I'm going to give our argumentations. And my second speaker here, ladies and gentlemen, will explain these motions in frame of health, psychology, and age restriction for marriage. So I found 3 terms in age, and also age restriction, and the third, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at the first one, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is eliminate. What is eliminate, ladies and gentlemen? Eliminate means to remove or take away, or even to get rid of something. I think that's clear. The second one, ladies and gentlemen, it's about age restriction. Ladies and gentlemen, age restriction is also means variable age. It means that it's the general age as a legal age or as the minimum age of subject to parental, religious, or other forms of social approval at which a person is legitimately allowed for marriage. And age and other prerequisites to marriage vary between jurisdiction, but in the vast majority of jurisdiction, the marriage age as a right is set at the age of majority. Nevertheless, allow marriage at a younger age, and some also allow adolescents to divisions of labor between the sexes, economic production, companionship, and etc. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can simply conclude that today's motion is for marriage. So we would humans to get married. That should be the consideration, ladies and gentlemen. But before I come up with my argumentation, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the background of our motion today, ladies and gentlemen. When we talk about age restriction, we would definitely talk about early marriage, ladies and gentlemen. Early marriage has become a hot topic nowadays. Age restriction has meant in order to prevent early marriage, because people think that early marriage is bad. It will lead to poverty. It will lead at less women empowerment. But in fact, ladies and gentlemen, what makes people get married in early age, ladies and gentlemen, is a poverty itself. So the government should give the society, and let's take to my argumentation, ladies and gentlemen. So we this motion, ladies and gentlemen,
split and some argument, but before that, I want to say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon on this blessed Friday. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not agree with the government side. Indonesia law itself stipulate the minimum 19 years old as stated in 2019 concerning amendment to law number 1 of 1974. A person who marries under this age is classified as an early marriage. The global concern regarding the practice of child marriage relates to the fact that child marriage violates children's human rights, limits their choices and opportunities, and makes them vulnerable to violence, exploitation, and abuse. Child marriage ends the teenage years of girls, which should be a time for psychology, emotional, and social development before entering adulthood. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic situation has increased the number of cases of early marriage in Indonesia. The main reason for marriage in this pandemic situation is the economic crisis that hit Indonesia during the pandemic. In the third quarter of 2020, increased to 26.4 million people, equivalent to 9.8% of the population in March 2020. According to the Center Statistics Against worrying phenomenon of early marriage cannot be separated from the perspective of families with low economic status who are unable to meet the cost of education and tend to see girls as an economic burden on the family. This makes them think.
EOI.
No, thank you. The reason for making policies are for the protection of children from the practice of marriage and suppressing the rate of population growth. This is because if the prevalence of child marriage remains
EOI,
high,
please.
the oral TPP are difficult to achieve. Please. This causes the economic condition of couples who marry early to early marriage is vulnerable because of low education, so that access to work is also low. Financial unpreparedness is vulnerable to making new families into pure family, especially if the couple married early and immediately got pregnant and had children. Their needs are increasingly pressing while their abilities as a parent do not budge. The third argument is increases the risk of child neglect. In addition to domestic violence, it is also possible that early marriage can have a negative impact on the relationship between husband and wife and children. Good emotional and financial instability.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, violence
against children will.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
That we made here. First thing first, because of so many people has perspective towards marriage. Like so many people thinks if they're getting married, the economic will be. Standing here as the government team, we will continue their educations to sustainable on their knowledge and something like that. We will give them a scholarship. We as the government team will give them a scholarship so they have a chance to continue their study. And here are the reasons why we eliminate the age restrictions, because of people has their own rights to do something that they want to do, and they have feeling to marriage, but the age are not required yet to marriage. That's possible for them to do, like having sex or for having sexual intercourse, because they cannot marry and they having feeling to do sexual intercourse. Because of that, they will feeling like their psychology will be restricted and something like that. So it absolutely makes sense. That's why we totally agree with this motion, because to marriage when they want to.
Of early marriage, it can make the children lose their education, play, and reach their optimal potential because it interferes with or an important period of their lives as children. Married children, both girls or boys, are forced to take on adult responsibilities, and they are likely not ready. Child marriage allows boys to become fathers early in the situation, aids to pressure to provide for the family, cutting off their education of the and self-development hindered, because in some cases, parents actually think that the children who marry young can be the savior of their families. In fact, it also has a negative impact on the biological side or the health of children, especially on the side of women. And the immature reproductive system can increase the risk of miscarriage during pregnancy, or defects on premature birth, and even death during childbirth at a young age. At a young age. Potential to increase health risk for both mother and baby. This is because the body is not actually ready to get pregnant and give birth.
POI, please.
Young woman has changing growth on development if she is pregnant, and her growth and development will be impaired. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the second 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I would like to invite the third speaker of the government team. The stage is yours.
To understand with the regulation that we have been proposed before that, as like my second speaker has stated before, that we will support them. People consume that if people get married early, government should apply for the age restriction itself. So I think it's not really supposed to be applied for the age restriction itself for the government. So it should not be used, ladies and gentlemen. So the first one is like my second speaker has stated before, that it's always people can get married at an early age, ladies and gentlemen. We would stick on the status quo right now. About 33% female people can get early married, but they would definitely can develop the government itself. So in fact, a person of the female in the developing countries get married early, and there's no problem with it. So let's take an example with in India. Yes, please.
So how the way you will support, you mean? Thank you.
We will support this one because of so many people has a perspective towards marriage are not good enough because the couple will not stable on their economic, but we as the government will give them a business loan. So after the business already give them income, they must give the business loan back without bank interest. So they would definitely can continue their studies, and they can continue and they financial would be stable, ladies and gentlemen. So here's my arguments. The first one is like my second speaker said before, that it's always talks about human rights. Although marriage is a huge decision to make, it doesn't require the perfect time. So if you feel that you are ready to marriage, I think that people can marry in all of the age. So it doesn't really necessarily problem that people, if they feel they are ready for marriage, please just do it. It's always talk about human rights, but ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't see by the scientist research which is shown that it is actually talks about the scientist work, which is it's impossible when people married with the 6 years old, right? So ladies and gentlemen, the second point I have, when couples are younger than expected, when marriage is not always talked about having kids. So ladies and gentlemen, when couples are younger than expected, so marriage is not always talks about sex itself. When they feel they're ready to marriage and they have to make a relationship before they would, as the government team, very proud to propose. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the third speaker of the government team spent 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So I would like to invite the last speaker of the opposition teams. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. I disagree with the goal that want to eliminate the age restriction for marriage, because like my teammates say, that so many negative impacts do when in the young or underage. This I will go deeper our arguments and give the strong evidence, especially from their biologics or psychology, from their biologics and psychological. First, eliminate age restriction for marriage will be open the way to make so many cases of early marriage, which is that is target our sustainable development goals. Second, early marriage can have an impact on the economy because in early marriage couples, their education is not optimal. Limited education ultimately limits access to job opportunities for them. This causes the economic condition of couples who marry early to be difficult to improve. Third, increase the risk of child neglect. Not good emotional and financial instability can even cause children. Violence against children. Fourth, child marriage affects aspects of their education. With the occurrence of early marriage, it can make children lose the right to education, play, and reach their optimal potential because it can interfere with an important period of their lives as children. Children who do not marry early can have a greater opportunity, interests, talents, and abilities. However, early marriage can make children drop out of schools and do not have the opportunity to develop themselves. This excuse will make the child's life messy and disorganized. So, early marriage can have an impact on the future lives, especially for what is desired and the opportunity to get a higher education. Fifth, child marriage can have a negative effect on the who are pregnant and giving birth are vulnerable to postnatal mental disorders such as depression after childbirth or baby blues syndrome, which occurs due to hormonal changes, fatigue, mental stress, and a sense of lack of assistance during childbirth. This statement was confirmed by the sense of lack of assistance by the health claim senior manager of Sequest, Dr. Children are not physically mature enough to have sex, experience pregnancy, and give birth. Early marriage couples are vulnerable to violence against women and divorce. According to the National Commission for Women's Rights annual report on 6 March 2019, the highest number
POI,
of
please.
No, thank you. Against women was violence in the household or private sphere, which raises 71% or 9,637 cases. The most prominent is physical violence, which raises 41%.
POI, ma'am, please.
No, thank you. Marriage that is done at an early age also has a negative impact on the biological side or the health of children. That is usually the condition that arise due to pregnancy at young age are first, high
POI,
blood pressure.
please.
Pregnant and their teens are at high risk of developing high blood pressure. It is characterized by high blood pressure, the presence of protein in the urine, and other signs of organ damage. Second, anemia. Anemia is caused by lack of iron consumed by pregnant women. Anemia during pregnancy can increase the risk of the baby being born prematurely and having difficulty giving birth. Third, babies born prematurely and low birth weight. Premature babies usually have low birth weight or LBW because they are not actually ready to be born. Babies born prematurely are at risk for respiratory, digestive, vision, cognitive, and other problems. Third, women under the age of 18 who become pregnant and give birth, percent of women who gave birth to their first child were under 20 years old. In other words, more than a quarter of women over the age of 20. Because there are so many negative impacts for those who do early marriage, we from the opposition firmly reject the eliminate age restriction for marriage. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the last speaker of the opposition team spent 5 minutes and 7 seconds.
Help convince them that marriage should take place the right age. In addition, children need to know that marriage is not a compulsion and not a way out of poverty. So education is not only emphasized so the children are smart, is mastering subjects. So that children can be skilled in life, develop careers and dreams. In addition, education can also provide information about the health of the body and reproductive system of adolescents when they we must side with our team because we have strong evidence along with real and contextual data in accordance with the motion that has been presented. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, the reply speech from the opposition team spent 1 minute 30 seconds. So next, I would like to invite the reply speech from the government teams. The time is yours.
Well, the honorable adjudicators, timekeepers, and all members of this house, I'll feel grateful to meet you around here, where I stand here to deliver our wonderful conclusions here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, according to what my first speaker and second speaker, me, and my third speaker stated before, that if we eliminate the age restricted, it means that, for marriage, it means that we restricted the human right. And we are not against eliminate the age restrictions. As a social creatures, we're supposed to support the human rights, not to against the human rights. And take a look how good the beneficial of eliminating the age restriction here. First, we save people's psychologies and health because sexual intercourse here or sexual desires. What the expert of psychologist Craig Malkin said, the status quo, like I've mentioned before, that I would state before, if we suppress people's sexual intercourse, or if we hold the people when they have feeling to get married and we hold it up or we suppress that, it means that it will make them stress and depressions. And second, we are not against human rights because of we eliminate the age restrictions for marriage. It means we give people freedom for marriage. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Theories here. And well, ladies and gentlemen, we strongly believe, we strongly agree, and we stand with the motions today to eliminate age restrictions for marriage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we stand for today's motions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Best regards for government team. Thank you.
Reply speech of the government team spent 1 minute 52 seconds. So next, such a good team, such an fire team. So next, we would like to invite the adjudicators to have a discuss. 5 minutes is given to you. The time is yours. Sorry, you are waiting for the IAIN Sorong to join this room. Kirim ulang linknya, Pak.
Yang putih yang penting cerdas. Cobanya skincare.
Oh, pesan gue deh. Udah tahu? Oke.
Agung PC. Bu Ambon ini yang di waiting room. Kena cincin audio. Ya ini. Titik ini. Iya sorong. Itu dong sorong. Masuk ada? Sana itu jam 2:30 di sana soalnya. Iya. Habis soalnya. Sudah ada? Sudah ada? So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for waiting for a long time. This waiting for IAIN. So we would like to hear verbal adjudication from adjudicators. So time is yours.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Well, let's everybody look at the would eliminate age restrictions for marriage. Well, actually, the adjudicating team do believe that this motion is not very easy, right? And people are going to have opinions. People are also going to have their own agenda about the motion. But the problem in this debate is that, well, the general truth or the status quo that we're facing right now is almost every single country is trying to put a restriction on the age of the marriage so that they are going to make sure that the child's right is being served. But unfortunately, the team that's supposed to give definition is not really giving a definition that can actually win them the debate. I know it's hard for you guys to win the debate, but if only you give a definition and some sort of a limit to win over the debate, it's possible. Well, unfortunately, I also see that there are teams that are too focused on their reading. This is why our adjudication team has asked the committee to reconsider giving the motion first. That readings, there are data, of course, but those are presented as a presentation, not as a debate. You are presenting, you're not debating. Well, you're supposed to be debating. What is good is regulation on how you allow certain age of children to get married, but you're giving a regulation and you're also giving solution on, for example, if the problem is financial problem, then you're giving some solutions such as business loans and other things. But unfortunately, for the there is a team that you should give a rebuttal of definition in the motion, but you didn't do that. And yeah, good point on child neglect. You're also giving me good point on because of the age of the mother is very too young to bear a child. Tapi it was not. We can really see that as much as you are serious on presenting all your data and all your opinions, you are not focusing on one opinion and elaborating and those opinions that will win you over the whole debate. And you didn't give a counter definition points. Yes, you also points out some of the flaw, tapi several ya. I think this is going to be a very hard debate, but since the opposition team is not elaborating their points, only reading their points, only giving points and points and points, but not focusing on one or elaborating. Even though that it's clear who got more points, tapi the difference is not as much as it's supposed to be. Well, it's a very good job for both of the teams. I can see that you guys are thinking critically. I can really see how some people are trying to get away from how people are going to swamp them, but they're trying to get away. I can. Overall, gini. Maksud saya adalah kalian tidak benar-benar memberikan definisi. Kenapa kami eliminate restriction age itu? Kenapa Kak? Kondisinya seperti apa sehingga it needs to be, the age restriction needs to be eliminated. You didn't say that. Unfortunately, you missed those points. If you did, if any of my colleagues want to add more things to say, but overall, you guys are very good. I mean, like in that age, in your age, I was just, you know, reading Indonesian books, not speaking in a debate. I would really love to congratulate each and every one of you. If any of my colleague adjudicators want to add something, please.
Thank you, the fabulous Dahlia, as always. And again, I'm just going to emphasize what my colleague has said before, that I know that this is such a good, actually, it's such an easy motion to win over for the negative team if they were clarify and define this age restriction, because you get so many, you got so many things out there that you can utilize, such as the SDGs and things like that, yeah. But it is not impossible for the government team to win it over as well. If you get, as my colleague just said, you can turn over the table if you could just regulate how this age restriction will be lifted, in what case it will be lifted, yeah. And yes, good. Commend you on that. You've done a good research and preparation. So good research and preparation, guys. And then for IAIN Gorontalo, I would also like to commend you on your courage, because I know as a student and as this is a hard, as I said, yeah, and my a hard topic to win, but you guys use your own critical thinking and utilize what you know to try to win this debate. So congratulations on you guys. Your hard work is highly appreciated. And yeah, so a good debate, to us, we had a discussion before that a good debate consists of a good definition of what's going to be debated, of who's going to deliver what during the debate, yeah, so team split, and then a good rebuttal and POI. But be aware of non-personal attack, yeah. So in your POI, and in your speech, all the time you should mind your manners, yeah. So overall, thing to see that you guys are trying your best, putting your best to win this debate. But yeah, again, it's not really, it's hard to win, but it's not impossible to win, yeah. It's hard to win this case for both groups, but not impossible. And last but not least, don't be discouraged if you guys are not winning this round of debate. So again, opportunities to me, I'll say based on my experience, opportunity is just one goes, thousand will comes. So hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. But if you don't win, don't be discouraged. Yeah, there will be a lot of things, a lot of. So congratulations once again, and hope to see you in the next round. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, well, thank you so much for all debaters who give us verbal adjudication for the debaters. So, firstly, congratulations to all debaters, such an fire group with these motions. And last but not least, I am Julian as timekeeper. I hereby close this round. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Makassar dengan apa ini?
Ternate.
Saya paham ini pembicaraan di kantor orang tuh biar dia angkat sedikit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kami ucapkan selamat datang kepada kontingen dari IAIN Ternate dan UIN Makassar. Ya, terlebih dahulu sebelum kita masuk pertandingan, kepada IAIN Ternate harap untuk menunjukkan KTP-nya atas nama Nurul Fitri Wahab. Ya, ditahan sebentar. Oke. Kemudian Faizah Harun. Oke. Terima kasih. Selanjutnya Farnella Diva. Baik, Pindi Indayani. Ya, terima kasih. Baik, kami timekeeper.
So well, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So good afternoon, everyone. So we would like to continue this debating championship of Poros Intim 2021, so organized by IAIN terutama Gorontalo. So today we have UIN Alauddin Makassar dan IAIN Ternate. Before we are going to start or to inform you the adjudicators, so we have Sri Dewi Jayanti Biahimo MED, Andiani Reskitana Bu MA, and at last we have Dahlia Hussain M.Hum. So ladies and gentlemen, UIN Alauddin Makassar and IAIN Ternate, all of members of this beautiful house, motions today, this house has no place in modern world. Again, motions for today, this house believes that death penalty has no place in modern world. In government side, we have UIN Alauddin Makassar, consists of Aan Mujizat, Indah Fata Morgana, dan Pindi Indayani. And IAIN Ternate as the opposition team, we have Farnella Diva, Nurul Fitri Wahab, and last we have Faiza Harun Goni. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform you the some rules that I have to do in this debate championship. Electronic device. Again, no electronic device. And for some time of speeches, the timekeeper will play the bell once at the minute of 3. To show the debater the time is 2 minutes left and POI time is started. And the timekeeper will play the bell once again and a minute of 4 minutes left. Oh, sorry. The government team is IAIN Ternate and UIN Alauddin Makassar as the opposition team. So the rules are no electronic devices, and for some type of speeches, the timekeeper will play the bell once at a minute of 3 to remind the debater time is 2 minutes left and POI time is started. And a minute of 4, the timekeeper will play the bell once again to show the debater the time is 1 minute left and POI time is up. Timekeeper will play the bell twice, and 15 seconds after that, the timekeeper will play the bell continuously and the speaker must stop the speech. And at the last, the timekeeper will announce each speaker's durations after the speaker has finished the speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this house believes that in modern world between UIN Alauddin Makassar and IAIN Ternate, the first speaker of the government team's time is yours. So I would like to inform time is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity given to us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Before we debate our motion this afternoon, I would like to introduce our team from IAIN Ternate. I am Nurul Faiza Harun, the second speaker, and at the very end there is Farnella Diva, the third speaker. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker from Affirmative House will give definition of this motion, background, purpose, and arguments of this motion. Our motion today is this House believes that the death penalty has no place in the modern world. Firstly, the death penalty is a sentence or sentence imposed by a court or without trial as a heaviest form of punishment imposed on a person due to his actions. In this modern world, the death anymore. Secondly, because with the death penalty, there is the right to determine the life or death of a person. And actually, the definition of punishment is to humanize humans, not to sacrifice humans. And lastly, the death penalty can illustrate disrespect for humanity. This motion is very true and very approved in our debate this time because the death penalty is one of the punishment that cross the line in human right. In modern law, the death penalty is not a legal sanction that can be used to enforce the law. Legal sanctions are not an arena for revenge, but a means to improve and develop the quality of life of someone who is considered to have committed a crime. If the government continues to enforce the death penalty, the state can be called. The death penalty violates the most basic right for humans, namely the right to live and improve their lives. This punishment also violates the right to life as regulated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Law Number 39 of 1999. Humanize humans, limiting power so that it is not arbitrary. Furthermore, by taking other people's life right and there is no hope for them to rectify the crimes they have committed, and that is a wrong decision. The purpose of this to live, they can the right not to be tortured, the right to free their brain and their heart, and the right not to be of law number 39 of 1999 on human rights. Well, ladies and gentlemen, punishment solution other than the death penalty, namely life in prison, cut off hands, and empowering them. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give my arguments is begin by that this motion is begin by that gives us a real understanding that the death penalty can make us arbitrary in determining the life or death of a person, because death and life are in the hands of God, not humans. So the death penalty has no place in the modern world. So we strongly support this motion in our debate this time. I think that's all from me. Thanks, and I.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker of the government team spent 4 minutes and 60 seconds. So next, I would like to invite the first speaker of the opposition teams. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The opposition team, I'm the first speaker of the opposition team. I'm Indapat Morgana. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the government team of the side has no limited the motion today. Well, we will give the limitation of the kind of the crime that they have mentioned before. Well, ladies and gentlemen. So the death penalty still has place in the world, in the modern world. Well, and death penalty has place for the big crimes such as terrorism. Well, let's move to our points, ladies and gentlemen. So based on this motion that this host place that death penalty has no place in the modern world, we totally disagree with this motion because of some reasons. The death penalty is a more effective deterrent than life imprisonment, ladies and gentlemen. Deterrence is probably the most commonly expressed rationale for the death penalty. The essence of the theory is that the threat of being executed in the future will be sufficient to cause a significant number of people to refrain from committing a heinous crime they had otherwise planned, ladies and gentlemen. And back to our point that penalty has place in the modern world to the terrorism, corruption, and genocide, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move to our second argument. Death penalty is necessary to maintain law and order in society because ideology that order is tied to instrument perspective that violence and punishment as a means to exerting social control. Because crime is an important problem in society, so we need death penalty to deter the perpetrators, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, in this death penalty, death penalty law itself, we really need the death penalty is a kind of capital punishment. So we law and order in society, ladies and gentlemen. Based on that points, we totally disagree and we pray to oppose this motion. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first 3 minutes and 11 seconds. I would like to invite the second speaker of the government teams. The stage is yours.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the second speaker from the affirmative house. I would like to give some argument, but before that, I would like to rebut what the other house said. So, you said that the death penalty is most effective than life in a prison. So, let's see. The death penalty is started in Indonesia, is committed in Indonesia at 1964 until now. The criminal cases is decreased after the death penalty is committed? The answer is exactly no. Based on the historical references, let's see. The death penalty is a punishment which is the judgment created to some criminal cases with the purpose is to make the criminal feel the same with what victim feels. And it's hope the criminal does. Okay, the death penalty. Here, the death penalty in Indonesia is average addressed to the drug cases and the corruptor. So, but let's see. After the death penalty is committed, who's again armory, rough and tumble, the intimidation, and the others. But let's see, in Indonesia, even the corruptor hasn't get the death penalty yet. And so I mean, it's like they do the death penalty in the wrong place. So, and then based on the institute, based on the references of Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, at 2020, there are 210 criminal penalty. Whereas at 2018 and 2019, there are just 135 criminal that has been executed. It means that the criminal cases is more increased. So, I mean that the death penalty is not useful for this modern place. So for the other solution, based on that, the cutting hands is really the cutting hands and alive in a prison forever. It really give the real effect for the criminal. I think that's all from me. So I'll give it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Second speaker of the government team spent 4 minutes 20 seconds. So I would like to invite the second speaker of the oppositions. The time is yours.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Pindi Indayanti, the second speaker from opposite team. We are from the opposite team, very proud to oppose the government side of the house. Before we are going to my argument today, I would like to rebuttal the government team. Okay, the first is, the government team said that the Declaration of Human Rights, look at the law of human rights. The Constitutional Court feels that the acts also recognize the limitation of human rights, someone by recognizing the right of others for the sake of public orders. In this case, the Constitutional Court considers the death penalty as a form of state protection against citizens, especially the rights of victims. The second is, Chapter 6, Paragraph 2 of ICCPR, or International Right, allowing the death penalty to the participating country, especially for the most serious crime. So I say that the crime for which the death penalty is given. Why? Because there is no other option of punishment and may provide a deterrent effect. Okay, let's see to my argument. The first is death penalty as a deterrent and as a form of a permanent incapacitation can help to prevent a future crime because make criminals think twice of their consequences. According to Ernest van den Haag, a professor of jurisprudence at Fordham University, state that death penalty is likely to deter more than other punishment because people fear that more is likely to deter most. Hence, the threat of death penalty deters some murderers who otherwise not have been deterred yet. And surely, the death penalty is only a penalty that could deter prisoners not be deterred yet, but killed a vicious murderer, it is help to prevent them from murdering again, either in society if they should get out. Okay, the second argument is death penalty is given to extraordinary crimes, for example, drug abuse. Extraordinary crimes is appropriate if the culprit is subjected to severe criminal sanction to the provision of death criminal. Remembering this type of crime can damage the entire layer of the nation and generation. Hartawi AM in Joko Prakoso and Nur Wahid, threat and implementation of criminal death as a social defense. Death penalty is a social defense to prevent the general public from disaster and danger or threats of large crimes that happen that will affect the community. The dangers and major crimes that befall and threaten in life of the community give the right to the community by using weapons, one of which is death penalty. So we are from the opposite team, support death penalty.
Cause of crime. Let's we see now we can see in our life in modern world we has used the punishment of continues to rise every year. I think the punishment of death penalty is abolished. Why? Because death punishment so violating of right to life, arraigned in Declaration of Human Rights, and death was so cruel as to be inhuman, degrading, and dignified. So maybe you think you will give death punishment to the who do cases considered more heinous than animals. But if you have brain and heart, our right is sacrifice. And we can arrive the heavy punishment, like live forever in jail, might lead to all punishment, cutting off the hands. According to Antonis, the law humanizes humans, limiting power so that it is not arbitrary. Better and live from what they furthermore. And I want to review our team's argument. Maybe our right is humanizing human beings, not human sacrifice. And the solution for that, we must change the death penalty to the like what just now I say. Maybe that's called be a spotty. And the area in this modern world, there's no turning point to division case of criminal. Maybe that's all from me, and I'll back to moderator.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the last speaker of the government team spent 2 minutes 39 seconds.
Criminal code as a reflection of being accommodated. It means that the death penalty still has place. This is proven by the regulation of that penalty in the criminal code by including or alternating it with other crimes. So we stand for death penalty in order it still exists, according to Dr. Wicipto, as one of the judges in Indonesia, that agree that penalty can still be given to certain crimes, such as which is involved trafficking in large quantities or narcotics, as what our previous speaker said. So, ladies and gentlemen, the death penalty cannot be separated to the ideological root about the process of the ratification of several national and international regarding to the death penalty. So, especially regarding the recognition of the right to life as a right that cannot be defied, cannot be reduced under any circumstances, as stated in General Declaration in International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, but it has not been ratified in several countries, especially the countries that use people. We know that in our religion there is a Qisas law in there, right? So that's why the death penalty still has place in this modern era. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only it, we will give further fact according to the statute to our reason why we say that death penalty still has place in the modern era. We will state the opinion from the Community Legal Aid Institute that actually the death penalty still can exist. We can even make alternative arrangement which states that death penalty can still exist with some requirements. Another proof that one study in America already made the research about the effect of this death penalty, and the result said that there is effect related to the deterrent, as what our speaker. So in this case, we will also emphasize that if we talk about death penalty, of course, we also talk about the parameter of the crime itself. Let's take the case in Papua as the instance. In Papua case, the government legally to give the death penalty, especially the head of the armed criminal group in there. The government will legally to kill the head of the armed criminal group, because if it is not, if there is nothing, if there is no death penalty, then it will still exist at.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the last speaker of the opposition team spent 5 minutes 40 seconds. So from the opposition teams, the time is yours.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion of this motion is so that the death penalty can give a person the arbitrary life or death, a crime person, and then the death penalty is a very destroyed 1999, and also the right to life as regulated in the Universal Declaration of Human. And I think this motion can showing the heavy punishment, because the death penalty illustrates disrespect for humanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, our team once again strongly agree with this motion. But and everything has a good and bad impact. So the positive side of this, the death penalty, that the perpetrators of criminal acts will not have the opportunity to repeat their action. But we should remember that they have the team or maybe a gang to continue the criminal. And the negative impact of the death penalty is very contrary to human rights. The death penalty of taking a person's life, even though humans don't have the right to take the life of another human being on any basis. It is not humans who determine a person's life or death. This also results in the death penalty being contrary in a religion. Almost all religions assume that a person's life is in the hands of the God, not in the hands of the humans. I think that's all of the conclusion, so I'll give it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, reply for the government team spend 1 minute. Invite the opposition team to give a reply speech. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So the conclusion from opposite team, the first is, human rights is not allowed to people to take human life, but the Constitutional Court feels that the Act also recognizes the limitation of human as a form of state protection, and the dangers of major crimes that befall and threaten the lives of community give the right to community as unity to save their lives and defend the crime by using weapons and also death penalty. The second is, death penalty is the only decision that provides the appropriate punishment and may provide a deterrent effect. The third is, we are very support death penalty as a deterrent effect for terrorism, drug abuse, corruption, and other extraordinary crime based on ICCPR or International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, Chapter 6, Paragraph 2, that's allowing the death penalty to the participating country, especially for the most serious.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the reply speech for the opposition team spanned 1 minute and 20 seconds. So that's all the debate for today. So I would like to invite adjudicators to in the special room to have a discuss about the debate. The time is yours. So maybe for adjudicators can sign in the break room. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to hear verbal adjudication for adjudicators. So, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, we would really like to offer our congratulations to each and every one of the debates. Good flow of debate today. Well, since we are not able to give you the information on who is the winning of the debate, we are going to give you several points on why you are good and which of the things we think you can. The government team doesn't give limitation yet. You're giving a definition, but unfortunately, the limitation is given by the opposition team. Well, and it was one of a good limitation that you really told us on what grounds the crimes, certain crimes are still to be punished by death penalty. The second one is, I do believe that both teams have, your points were enough elaborated, and also you are discussing the matter from many point of view, and it's very good. Unfortunately, we can clearly say that most of you are reading. So for a minute or a reading contest instead of a debating contest. But since you're still a student, you have years and years to practice and improve yourself. And even though that most of you are reading, but the flow of the debate runs smoothly. Some of you still provide rebuttal for the team, which showed us that you appreciate the other team. Remember, the opposite of the team, both team appreciates the other team, so that you can give a good rebuttal. Counter argument, and overall, I think that you both deserve a round of applause from each and every one of us. Thank you very much for today. And I think that's all from me. If the adjudication team, Ibu Dewi would like to have something to add more to my adjudication, please to speak directly to the both teams.
No, darling, I think I'm good. Yes, you've mentioned all the pros and cons of the both teams, but once again, I would like to congratulate both teams, and congratulations and thank you for providing us such a good flows of debate, and I hope to see all the best and hope. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, teams. You're the best.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for verbal adjudication for adjudicators. So you hope you can elaborate. All debaters, and thank you so much to all adjudicators. Last but not least, I am Julian, hereby close this round. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nyambung semua. Apa itu?
sih. Aduh, tidak lihat. Baru dia suruh. Saya kena ada juga ini. Bagus ya. Saya langsung sampaikan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kami ucapkan selamat datang kepada tiap peserta, baik dari IAIN Majene dan IAIN Manado. Baik, sebelum kita mulai pertandingan, memasuki pertandingan, terlebih dahulu kami akan memverifikasi dari Stein Majene kami mengundang Harlinda untuk menunjukkan KTP-nya di depan kamera. Harlinda. Ya. Ya, terima kasih. Kemudian Warkiah R. Baik, terima kasih. Selanjutnya Muhammad Tasrif. Selanjutnya kami mengundang dari kontingen dari IAIN Manado, Anggi Mobia, untuk menunjukkan. Iya, terima kasih. Kemudian Novika Sari Gobel. Ya, terima kasih. Kemudian Jihan Fahira. Ya. Bisa lebih dekat lagi, Jihan? Ya, terima kasih, Jihan. Ya, selanjutnya kami serahkan kepada
So well guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone, to welcome to English Debate Championship organized by IAIN Sultanamai Gorontalo. So before we're going to start our debate championship today, we would like to inform you our adjudicators. So first we have Sri Dewi Jayanti Biyahimo. The second one we have Andiani Rizky Tanabu, and last we have Dahlia Hussain Mhum. So ladies and gentlemen, motions for today: this house believes that violence in media causes violence in society. Again, this house believes that society. So in government side we have IAIN Manado, consists of Anggi Mobia, second one Jihan Fahira, and the last one we have Novika Sari Gobel. In the opposition side we have Stein Majene, and consists of Harlinda, second one Warkia, and the last we have Muhammad Tas. Before we're going to start our debate championship, I am Julian as timekeeper for the preliminary round. Would like to inform you some rules in this debate. The first one is not electronic device. Again, no electronic device. And second one, for some time speeches, the timekeeper will play the bell once at the minute of 3 to remind the debater time is 2 minutes left and POI time is started. And at the minute 4, once again to show up the debater time is 1 minute left and POI time is up. And the minute of 5, the timekeeper to remind the debater the time is up, and 15 seconds after that, the timekeeper will play the bell continuously and the speaker must stop the speech. And at the last, the timekeeper will announce each speaker's durations after speaker has finished the stop. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this House believes so we would like to invite the first speaker of the government teams, whose time is yours.
Cek. Ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable, all of the adjudicators, the timekeeper, members, and all of the participants. First, I would like to introduce our team members. My name is of the government. Beside me is Anggi Mubaya as deputy leader of the government, and Novika Sarigobel as government whip. This house believes that violence in media causes violence in society. Violence is defined physical force against other or self, or the compelling action against one's will on pain of being hurt or killed, contained on television, news, social media, etc. At the individual level, what is being investigated is exposure to media content that contains violence against individuals. One example of violence in the media that often occurs is violence in the mass media or television that also disseminates acts of violence, such as excessive publication of terrorist brawls that occur in brutal acts of how to destroy and burn. Violence incidents, such as murder or suicide, are described in detail, this making the audience understand the steps of murder with ease. It is not wrong. There is vision can affect people like students, teenagers, and adults' attitudes. It is because television is the most familiar and close social media in society. Dangerous violence in such spectacles can also lead to increased aggressive behavior. A survey was conducted by the Christian Science Monitor or CSM in 1996 on 1,209 parents with children aged 2 until 7 years. To the question of how far violence on TV affects of respondents answered that it is very influential. The rest, 26% affected, 5% moderately affected, and 11% had no influence. The process from just watching TV to being able to turn into a behavior takes quite a long time. It becomes a problem with elements of violence throughout the day, so you become used to it, especially if the environmental conditions are supportive. We take an example. If we only watch action films or violence news on television, the duration is 3 hours. A week becomes 21 hours, a month 90 hours. If this becomes a routine food, then the attitude pattern of the audience is it's okay. Children learn not to like and hate as a form they do not think. In the current pandemic, apart from television, people also use social media a lot to relieve boredom due to social restriction. No, thank you. The latest digital trends report survey from Facebook shows that users in Indonesia are actively during the coronavirus pandemic. The Digital Trends Report, a survey conducted by with YouGov, shows that more than 140 million people living in Indonesia have joined active groups over the past month. Whereas, as we know, Facebook is one of the social media that has the potential to make people commit violence in the media, where not only children, but adults too. And that's all we can see in our daily lives. violence on social media that starts from hate speech to have an impact on community violence. The perpetrator made a hate speech, and the victim did not accept it. So, in the end, there are so many days. Therefore, we from the government team strongly believe that violence in media causes violence in society. We hope the adjudicators can consider our data. Consider our data. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker of the government team spent 5 minutes and 28 seconds. So I would like to invite the first speaker of the opposition team. The time is
Well, can I start the... Well, then I will the educators and all the audience in this Zoom meeting and also the timekeeper for this debate competition. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Harsundes, the first speaker from the opposition team, and the second speaker is Tasrif, and the third speaker is Warkia, and me as the reply speech for this debate competition now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our motion today is this House believes that violence in media causes violence in society. And we are from the opposition team are very disagree with this motion today, ladies and gentlemen, because of the reason. Well, about my argument, I would like to give the rebuttals to the first speaker from the government team. Well, the government team said just now about the social media and also the fight in a film or movie can cause the violence in society. Well, we know, ladies and gentlemen, said this statement without give the valid data or valid example for this example. And then, ladies and gentlemen, how can you guarantee that the violence in society, the violence in media, such as in social media and also film or movie, can cause the violence in society? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give my first statement from our team. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my first argument with the motion today is because media violence effect in society is very minimal. Ladies and gentlemen, watching film that consists violence action will unlikely turn someone to be a violent person. Violence in media is not one of the main causes to put exposure to background in the real life society is one of the main reasons to influence certain people to be aggression. Listen, meaning of film, games, or everything related to the media do not inspire people to do such as aggression action, but other factors like environment or traumatical occurrences in the past do. Ladies and gentlemen, a study in 2014 by the Public Library of Science hypothesized the person's reaction to violent media is critically dependent on personality trait differences between propensity for physical assault will respond to the media differently than control. Essentially, the study found that only people with a violent history reacted to the violent media in manner aggressive. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we are from the
POI, please.
Are very disagree. And moreover, ladies and gentlemen, there are myriad of movies and the actual prevalence of violence in society. There are myriad of other factors that contribute to introducing aggression much more significantly, more than the media does. Wallman, senior writer for the American Prospect magazine, says that compared to factors like poverty, childhood trauma, family violence, gangs, and the access to violence, contribution of media to a level of violence in society is negligible. Further, evidence that contrasts with general accusation come from the poll carried out on the online debating community Debat.org, where people were asked violence. 61% disagree with this statement, while only 39% said that the media does cause violence, compared to any control lab studies or experiments such as a free poll perhaps present a far more natural and unprecedented conclusion. So there is no relation each other. The violence in media cause of violence in society. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we are from the opposition team are very disagree.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker of the opposition team spent 5 minutes and 1 second. So I would like to invite the second speaker of the government team. The stage is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. All the adjudicator, timekeeper, and all the participants. My name is Anggi Imobaya, and I am the second speaker from the government team. As my leader stated before, violence can make several risks, even can cause death to another, because violence is the extreme form of aggression. According to the Professor Emmanuel Tene, a retired clinical psychiatrist at Wayne State University, he stated that violence in media has been increasing and reaching teenagers who oftentimes are continually exposed to violence in media resort to violence to solve the problems. This can be partially attributed to what they see and who they're around, because teenagers learn the social skill from their surrounding. In 2008, Secret Service and the U.S. Department of Education examined that 37 incidents of targeted school shooting and school attacks from 1974 to 2000 in this country, which in this case America, found out that over half of the attackers demonstrated some interest in violence throughout movie, video games, books, and other media. Around 2013 to 2015, there is a trend called group fight, which is a video that contains multiple fight from rivalry. It posted on YouTube and website, and till the day that I'm saying this, it can be accessed fully and freely. That video contained large amount of fighting from each group in America, and around the time there are more violence to 25% from span time of 2013 to 2015. Continued exposure to violence like this can have the adverse effect on youth. Meta-analysis of the unhealthy effects of media violence have shown that youth who view media violence on a regular basis are more likely to exhibit antisocial behavior, ranging from imitative violent behavior with toys to criminal, or as we can say, they are mimicking their surrounding because they think that is acceptable. Why? Because they are posting it. That act, it could be accepted by surrounding. According to the Media Violence Commission of the International Society for Research on Aggression, as known as EISRA, in its report said that over the past 50 years, a large number of studies conducted around the world watching violent films, or playing violent video games increases the likelihood for aggressive behavior. While in fact, in 2004, there was incident of murder by an 8-year-old because he's playing GTA San Andreas. He's killing the cabbie or the taxi driver and steal the taxi. And he stated that he learned it from GTA San Andreas. Also, Gentle and Bushman, a psychiatrist, wrote that the best single predictor of future aggression in the aggression followed by violent media exposure. Nowadays, teenagers often spend at least 40 hours to play video game, and adolescents spend 9 hours each day on other social media, such as TV, internet, computer, number who play on their mobile phone. I've got that census data from the Common Media Sense in 2015, and this number is still growing up till these days. I hope that the adjudicator can consider what are we saying and all the data that we've presented, and I strongly believe that violence in social media can cause violence in society. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the second speaker of the government team. Seconds, I would like to invite the second speaker of the opposition team. The stage is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks to the member of the House for having me. And as the Deputy Prime Minister said before, that video games, films has caused the violent society. Games or watch those films might have like an initial background, like traumatic background, and like maybe they are underage, and like the leader of opposition said before that government like games productions developers have put an age restriction, mental health restriction, or anything restriction to restrict the movement of kids or those who have a mental issue to play those games, then this fact doesn't necessarily violent in media or violent in video games cause the violence in society. First, I will deliver our second argument. Media violence consumption does not associate it with aggressive behaviors. People watch films, their imaginary experience of certain emotions, like being amid of the world, in a social game, or even like to position themselves on such romantic themes. However, those imaginary thoughts are separated universe to the real life society. Those feelings, ladies and gentlemen, those feelings are unlikely to be replicated in real life society, because once they finish watching or playing films and games, they most likely leave their imaginary world to live their real world instead. Some people become aggressive right after playing games. Is it sport, like art events, sport events, or everything that has a competitive events? It's not because the violence of the games. So, in 2006 study, ladies and gentlemen, by Indiana University, researchers found that teenagers who play violent games show higher level of emotional arousal. However, less activity in parts of the brain associated with an ability to plan, control, or direct thoughts and behaviors. When we play games, sometimes we feel hot up, sometimes we are watching action films, but it doesn't alter us as a who we are. Same goes with watching sad movies or touching videos. We cry, but not necessarily it make us depressed. So media violence is not associated with aggressive behaviors because it's just emotional and imagination in different universes. Unlikely, people to replicate their wild imaginary emotions to the real life world. And our third argument is media does not promote violence in society. As we know, media is an entertainment for certain of people. And people sometimes in media, they have to show some of violence scenes, and those of scenes are brought from real life society, and even films and video games are predominantly inspired by the violence in society. Violence scene in media, therefore, is unaffordable, and their main purpose are to share information or as a place to put wild imagination, desire, or emotions on what we call entertainment purpose. Though no entity stage of age is eligible to consume certain content, to somehow manage to avoid this violence to influence to those of
POI, please.
are either underage, no please, and in a mid of mental issue. Media has put warnings on their contents and it depends on the society how they manage to choose and control which is the right. Hence, we cannot blame media regarding what's been happening in the real life society. Media emerged to fulfill people's need and not at all to promote violence. It's society to control and responsible as media already put those restrictions. With that all being said, we strongly are not in favor with these motions. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the second speaker of the opposition team spent 4 minutes 44 seconds. I would like to invite the last speaker of the government teams. The time is
Thank you very much for the opportunity that has given to me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Novika Sarigobel as the government whip. That your statement is not really relate with the data that we have found. Why? Because people sometimes cannot filter what the content they watch or they play. For example, most of the teenagers nowadays are the users of those things, and because there is no warning by all the people around them, like especially parents, so they cannot filter what they play and what they watch. And also, as the government team, I am strongly believe that causes violence in society. Let me summarize what the leader and the deputy leader of government team have told. There are many medias that disseminate acts of violence, can affect persons' attitude. However, violence on media affects children. 56% of respondents answered that is very influential. It means the negative impact of social media is bigger than its rest. Also, as stated by all of the psychiatrists, violence in media has been increasing and reaching for proportions that are dangerous. Continual exposure to violence like this can have adverse effects on youth. Meta-analysis of the unhealthy effects on media violence have shown that youth who view media violence on a regular basis are more likely ranging from imitative violent behavior with toys to criminal violence, acceptance of violent behavior, increased feelings of hostility, and desensitization toward violent behavior. Also, according to Media Violence Commission of the International Society for Research on Aggression, or ISRA, a large number of studies conducted around the world have shown that watching violent television, watching violent films, or playing violent video games increases the likelihood for aggressive behavior because they cannot filter what they watch and what they play. constitutes a causal risk factor for increased aggression is compelling. Violence in screen entertainment media, for example, television, film, video games, and the internet, define as depictions of charred characters or players trying to physically harm is ubiquitous. The work group on media violence and violent video games reviewed numerous meta-analyses and other relevant research from the past 60 years, with an emphasis on violent video game research. Consistent with every major science organization review, the work group found compelling evidence of short-term, long-term harmful effects. The vast majority of laboratory-based experimental studies have revealed that violent media exposure causes increased aggressive thoughts, angry feelings, psychological arousal, hostile appraisals, aggressive behavior, and desensitization to violence, and decreased prosocial behavior, like, for example, helping others and empathy. There are many potential cognitive and social benefits of like video game play or film. Some have received empirical support. Well-designed video games, it is kind of highly motivating, engaging, and responsive to the players or watcher skills. But however, violent video games or violent film can also have negative effects on the watcher or players. It is also important to understand that no single risk adolescent to behave aggressively or violently. Instead, it is the accumulation of risk factors and the relative lack of protective factors that lead to aggressive and violent acts. There is no one of the risk factors that is no the smallest of them. Importantly, it is one of the few risk factors that can be modified with little cost to parents or to society in general. That was from us. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope the adjudicators can consider our data. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, the last 5 minutes and 3 seconds, I would like to invite the third speaker of the opposition team. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for your time to give it to me. I'm the third speaker of the opposition team. Well, firstly, I'm going to debate on the statement that come from the first. Well, the first speaker of the government team doesn't state the evidence of his or she's argument, because we need an evidence or a proof about an argument without opinion, but it's a proof. And then the first speaker of the opposition team already stated that there is an accurate date to support our argument today that the violence in media doesn't cause violence in society. And also, the statement that came from the second speaker of the government team states that watching movies or playing a game are one of the society. Well, as the rebate from the second speaker of the opposition team states that there is no proof or there is no guarantee that we can show, or we can, even there is a research, but we can opposite that research. And as the second speaker said that the step 2006 study from Indiana University researchers found that teenagers who play games, even violent, showed higher of emotion arousal. So only emotion. There is no practical, only imagination. And the third speaker of the government team also stated that we cannot filter content that come from media. Well, why not? Because there is a terms of condition that we should follow. There's an age restriction in every media, like television or social media. There's a restriction that we can access a content or a videos. Okay, and then I'm going to restate and emphasize the statement that came from the first and the second speaker of the opposition team. Well, the first argument that came from the opposition team is media violence effect in society is very minimal or in a low quality. Well,
PhD found that new research over the past decade has suggested that links between media violence and child aggression are less clear than previously thought. So even there is previously research, but now research is found that there is a decrease of violence in society. And surveys of scholars regarding endorsement of media violence effect state about 94% agree that its climate is changing. It means the social effect of violence in society. And also, I stated from the first speaker that from Waltman senior writer, American Prospect magazine, the contribution of the media of the level of violence society is negligible. Then other factors like poverty, child trauma, access to violent tools. And then I'm going to emphasize the second argument that came from the second speaker of our team. The argument is media violence consumption does not associated or correlated with aggressive behaviors. The theoretical models such as self-determination theory and mood management theory suggest the viewers actively select media to meet their mood goals. Neither the selection of media nor outcome behaviors are driven primarily by media content, but rather by a user goals and motivations. And from such different users respond differently to particular forms media. Only visualization, but doesn't influence behavior, aggressive behavior. And then the last argument is violence in media is not to promote actual violence, but rather to disability. No thanks. Well, media is an instrument of social awareness. Well, in media, in addition to inviting viewers or users empathy for victims or crime violence, to also can serve a warning so that people are more aware to potential crimes. Media as instruments to stop violence that can make us to be aware to prevent social crimes happening in society. And media has prominent role to play in modern society. It can bring about radical change. It includes our social, civil, cultural, political, economic, and aesthetic outlook. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I stated again that our team is totally disagree about our motion today. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite the reply speech from the opposition team. Time is yours.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our motion today is this house believes that violence in media causes violence in society. Well, let me evaluate this debate competition just now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can evaluate or we can conclude the all opposition team or an argument and from government team. And ladies and gentlemen, the government team always say or explain about the violence in media can cause the violence in society. And also they said that there is no correlation with our data. But ladies and gentlemen, the third speaker give evidence that from the Christopher Ferguson that the violence in media is only the past research, ladies and gentlemen. And we from the opposition team are always give the new research, and it's can evident that the violence in media and violence in media doesn't cause violence in society. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we can conclude that we are from the opposition team good data and best data for this debate competition and the debate competition now, and we deserve that we can be the winner for this debate competition. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, reply speech from the opposition team span 1 minute and to fight the reply speech from the government teams. The stage is yours.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We've come a long way from debating and giving some solution that to help most teenagers and preteen to know that social media violence can affect their emotional. But I'm here trying to say that there is advices to reduce or maybe can make sure that there is no more violence in media can cause violent society. First of all, age restricting is a very, very important role for accessing all the content that include in the internet. However, it can be hacked, what I'm saying, because all the children know that they have to put some numbers in it. Then they just have to rewrite those numbers. Are maybe around 12 years old, but they are 18 or 16 years old. So I think that I hope that in the future that kind of system can be upgraded. And the second is to reduce the media violence, which in this case, reducing all the contents that contain violence, such as group fights, terrorism attack, terrorism shooting, target school attack. It can causes all the viewers, not all maybe, some of them, to think that that is just fine and it's acceptable. Because what are we seeing that around America there's always attackers in school shooting and bombing just because they saw what in television. Third is change the impact from what we've seen. You are likely to know that adolescents like to mix and combine fictional life and real life. So we have to make sure that they know the limit between real life and
Well, ladies and gentlemen, reply speech from the government team span 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's all for debating today. We would like to invite our adjudicators in break room to have a discuss about the debate. The time is yours.
Thank you.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to hear verbal adjudication from adjudicators to the Excellency. Give verbal adjudication to all debaters. The time is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. All right, thank you very much, timekeeper. Well, I would like to say thank you very much first for the to team for your effort to elaborate and presenting the data in this debate, and you both did a good job. And I want to congratulate also to the team who has been finished the debating today, but I have some points that you need to pay attention. And the first one is, again and again, some of you is still, some of you seems like reading your argument. So we as adjudicator feels like we reading contest, not a debating contest. And I mean, we cannot also see how your pure argument and how your rhetoric to persuade the audience and convince the audience, how your persuasive speaking skill in this debate. But we want to appreciate to the first opposition, to first opposition team who make this competition, because you use language. Your language is clear from the beginning until the end, and the flow feels like natural rebuttal and natural argument. Even though some of you still, but it's okay. You can learn it and practice it out of here. And the next one is, the first, both teams felt define and limitation what social media we are going to debate in this debate. And some of you also still too calm in defending, and some of you feels really emotional in convincing the audience. But it's okay. I hope you can learn how to control that, how to control your emotion for the next debate. And what else? Maybe there's some adding information from adjudicators, Ibu Dahlia or Ibu Dewi.
I think from me, again, I would just like to elaborate what my colleague has said, that both team has failed to especially define what media, what violence in media, which media. If you limited the media into like social media or television or newspaper or whatever, it will be to head into the direction that you want it to. But however, since it's not divine, so the both team, none of the team define what kind of the media violence. The next thing is, yes, some of you are too calm. Like the essence of the debate is to convince your opponent that your argument is worth to try and your argument is the best. But if you're not convincing enough, no matter how good the data you presented, you're not going to win the argument. So again, I'm commending your thorough research, guys. So congratulations on that, very thorough research. even though some of you are not very presenting it in a very convincing way. And also the replied speech, it was kind of it was good to hear you guys elaborating and trying to stand on your position, on each of your positions, yeah. So from Stein Majene, thank you very much for presenting a good debate, and also IAIN Manado, you guys are very calm, but also trying to make the debate flow into the way that you expected it to flow. However, there will be that will be our jobs to again discuss where the winning team goes. But I hope that this will not be the end of the debate for you guys. You will have a lot of you'll have a lot of time to improve. You guys can improve too in terms of debating. So all the best, and I'll hope to see you in the next round. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much to all debaters. Has shown us argumentations about this house belief that violence in media causes violence in society. So give applause for you guys. So information for our adjudicators, we give you another 10 minutes. Again, we give you another 10 minutes to discuss and decide what team will come moving forward to the next round, namely top 8. Is 10 minutes could be enough? Okay, adjudicators, is 10 minutes could be enough?
Calculate, yeah, and round up who's to go to the next round, yeah? Yeah, okay. So yeah, give us another 10 minutes to go into another room, please.
Yes, ma'am. Another 10 minutes is given to you to discuss and decide what teams will moving forward to the next round. The time is yours. And all participants are invited to this room to hear the announcement from adjudicators to what team will moving forward to the next round, so namely top 8, for the next 10 minutes.
Thank you.